Life often reveals itself through the most surprising twists and turns. In the solitude of that small hotel room, I found myself lost in reflection, pondering the myriad events that had conspired to bring me to this moment. For months, my husband Michael toiled away in another city, and though I endeavored to maintain my composure, the distance gradually took its toll on me. His absence lingered in the air, a palpable void that echoed in my thoughts. It was not merely his presence that was lacking, but the attention and care that had gradually diminished over time. It was the profound emotional distance that enveloped me during those endless, solitary nights. It was beyond my wildest expectations that a mere suggestion to my stepson Jason to accompany his father would culminate in our unexpected confinement within the tight quarters of a hotel room, a space originally intended for a solitary occupant. Little did I know that night would alter the course of everything. Allow me to recount the tale from its very inception, each minute aspect. Trust me, the conclusion of this tale will unfold in a way that surpasses your wildest expectations. That morning, as I stepped out of my home, I caught a fleeting reflection of myself in the mirror. I felt the tension coursing through me, yet I couldn't deny that I still appeared quite striking. Despite Michael's recent tendency to leave me in solitude, a sense of desirability lingered within me. I remained vibrant, a pulse of existence coursing through me. Yet, even those emotions had ceased to suffice. They failed to meet my expectations. As Jason completed his breakfast in the kitchen, I called out to him from behind. The end of summer marks the beginning of your college journey. I understand. However, there is room for improvement in your driving skills. Come, let me accompany you and your father. He regarded me with that familiar, playful grin that was so characteristic of him. Jason was a charming lad, possessing a quirky and humorous nature, yet there were moments when he could be somewhat troublesome. "All right, stepmother," he remarked playfully, "but only if you promise to convince Dad to get me a nicer car for the summer." "We'll talk about that," I replied tersely, my anticipation for the trip bubbling beneath the surface. Little did I know, the journey would unfold in ways I never anticipated. After 2 hours on the road, we continued our journey. As I lounged in the back seat, my fingers danced across the screen of my phone, while Jason filled the air with an eclectic mix of tunes from the radio, punctuating the melodies with his own brand of humor, jokes that seemed to amuse him alone. In an instant, the car emitted a dreadful noise, a piercing hiss, and then it fell silent, ceasing all function. "What's happening, Jason?" I inquired, making an effort to keep my voice steady. "I think the car broke down," he muttered, pulling over to the side of the road, his frustration palpable. In an instant, we found ourselves marooned in the vast expanse of nowhere. With scarcely a whisper of phone signal and no one in sight to lend a hand, I felt utterly alone. For 2 long hours we engaged in a heated debate, reaching out to every mechanic we could locate, all in a desperate attempt to mend the car. In the end, we found ourselves compelled to acknowledge the undeniable truth. We had no choice but to seek refuge for the night at the closest motel. As Jason engaged in conversation with the man at the counter, I lingered behind him, a wave of frustration washing over me. I couldn't shake the thought that if Michael discovered this, his fury would be unimaginable. Yet, in that peculiar instant, it appeared to hold little significance. Somewhere within me, I sensed that tonight held the power to alter the course of everything. Before this tale embarks on an even more unforeseen journey, do take a moment to subscribe to my channel and activate notifications. Prepare to be captivated by what unfolds next. I truly long for your encouragement in the comments. It envelopes me in a warm embrace of solace and belonging, providing a serene, intimate fulfillment. Upon entering the room and grasping the handle, a wave of despair washed over me, succumbing to an oppressive, disquieting stillness. The confines of the space were stifling, a palpable sense of claustrophobia enveloping me as I fought to pivot even slightly. In the quiet embrace of the room, I discovered myself enveloped by little more than a bed, a nightstand, and a soft, wavering glow from the ceiling above. The light flickered softly, bathing the surroundings in a gentle radiance that was at once soothing and eerie, outlining the shapes of my musings as they wandered through the stillness of the night. The ceiling hung heavily overhead, casting a shadow of confinement, as the air conditioning struggled to offer even a faint breath of comfort. A solitary narrow window revealed nothing more than the expanse of the parking lot, a mere glimpse that served to remind me of a world that now seemed achingly distant. "This is it," I murmured softly to myself. His smile took me by surprise. It was unexpected, yet it ignited a feeling within me that I found difficult to articulate. Despite my initial aversion to the thought, I couldn't help but ponder if spending that night alone with Jason might not be as dreadful as I had once imagined. As I stood there, it dawned on me that Jason's presence awakened echoes of my youth, filled with uncertainty and emotions that eluded my grasp. What had I anticipated? A luxurious five-star hotel? I found myself pondering the true significance of that notion, the enchantment of opulence, the assurance of ease. Yet beneath it all, I found myself pondering, can it ever genuinely satisfy the emptiness within? Every star symbolizes a vow, a hope, yet do they ever truly mirror the reality of our deepest desires? This night is all we have. Let us pause for a moment, dear stepmother. His mocking tone, infused with that ever-present mischievous smile, intensified my frustration and left me grappling with emotions I couldn't fully identify. Still, I struggled to completely accept the idea of resenting Jason's easygoing and laid-back demeanor. Being near him, though I would never admit it, stirred a profound emotion within me. A feeling rises within me, elusive and difficult to fully comprehend. The heat envelopes me, a weighty shroud that is both stifling and unyielding. I catch myself massaging my forehead, attempting to alleviate the mounting tension that intensifies with every fleeting second. As I observe Jason, he effortlessly flops onto the bed, reclining on his back, the burdens of existence momentarily eased from his shoulders. This realm belongs to you, Diane. Allow yourself the space to genuinely settle in and embrace this place as your own. For a brief instant, I found my gaze fixed upon him. It struck me to see the extent of his growth, and that realization awakened a profound awareness of time's relentless march and the way relationships transform over the years. It caused me to stop and contemplate the intricacies of attraction, how mere appearances can stir profound emotions and reflections. Still, I found myself wrestling with that thought. It clung to the recesses of my mind. In the stillness of my thoughts, I often ponder the reality that he was Michael's son, my stepson. It awakens a profound sensation inside me, a mixture of intimacy and intricacy that eludes my ability to express. Upon entering the bathroom, I softly shut the door, creating a barrier between myself and the outside world. In that ephemeral instant, I discovered myself lost in the depths of my own reflection in the mirror. The heat enveloped me, causing my hair to adhere to my skin, yet in that moment, I discovered an unexpected sense of beauty. As I pondered, I discovered the lingering traces of that once vibrant spark deep within my being. I activated the shower, letting the water flow freely as I stepped under its embrace, longing for the warmth to wash away the tangled emotions that had settled deep within me. In this moment of stillness, I can't help but ponder the reality that I have reached the age of 47. Jason has matured, no longer the young boy I once recognized. At 22, he finds himself poised on the edge of a new chapter, ready to set forth on his adventure into the realm of university life. Here we are, nestled within the confines of this modest hotel room, savoring these ephemeral moments together. A sensation awakened inside me, a blend of discomfort and excitement that eluded my attempts to articulate. Michael gradually emerged in my mind, remaining there as I pondered our shared experiences. Michael harbored a longing to astonish you, to be close, to weave shared moments into the fabric of time. Yet here I sit, ensnared in this hotel room with your son, adrift in a tempest of feelings, grappling with the challenge of making sense of it all. The steam from the shower filled the small bathroom, crafting a warm cocoon that embraced me. I lingered in that moment, my mind adrift, while the outside world slipped into oblivion, leaving behind the soothing melody of water flowing gracefully. In that fleeting moment of solitude, I found myself immersed in reflection, contemplating the day's events and the tumult of emotions within me, each breath intertwining with the mist that lingered in the air. The warmth wrapped around me, a gentle balm for my body, while my thoughts danced in a chaotic storm, stubbornly resisting calm. As I observed Jason's smile and sensed the comfort of his presence, an unexpected warmth began to stir within me. As I stood beneath the cascading water, a shroud of uncertainty wrapped around me. Though I struggled to comprehend the potential of this spark, I sensed a profound shift brewing within me. At last, I descended for dinner, yearning to uncover some clarity amid the tumult of my swirling thoughts. I donned a delicate, airy dress, the fabric caressing my skin with each graceful step I took. The dress seemed to murmur tales of ease and elegance, beckoning me to ponder the journey that brought me to this point. In that moment, the sweltering heat seemed to align perfectly, yet an elusive something lingered in the air. It enveloped me in a tender caress, easing the peculiar tightness that had taken residence inside, coaxing me to release my grip and inhale with greater ease. The hotel restaurant exuded a warm and inviting atmosphere, a cozy haven that perfectly suited its modest dimensions. As I placed my order for a light meal and a glass of wine, I felt a deep longing for the soothing embrace of relaxation to envelop me. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, I was wrapped in the tender glow of the streetlights outside the hotel, their gentle illumination casting a warm, almost wistful light on the surroundings. As I sat there, my mind drifted to the room above, a space brimming with memories that pulled at my heartstrings. I often find myself adrift in contemplation, wondering what Jason could be engaged in at this precise moment. It's difficult to envision an individual so full of vigor and restlessness discovering happiness within the limitations of a small space. The tension hangs palpably in the air, a heavy shroud that must be pressing down on him, suffocating his spirit. Nevertheless, his laid-back, untroubled demeanor ignited a tempest of feelings inside me, rendering me bewildered and at a loss for words to explain the profound impact it had on my soul. With the last sip of wine lingering on my palate, I paused to admire my plate one final time before embarking on my deliberate climb up the stairs. Upon entering the room, an intense quietude surrounded me, encasing my thoughts in a soft, comforting hold. As I opened the door, the scene that unfolded before me was nothing short of breathtaking, leaving me momentarily lost in a tranquil reverie. In a serene moment, I discovered Jason, freshly showered and ensconced in his robe, lying in bed, utterly absorbed in the depths of his slumber. As she stood there, the fabric of her robe slipped away, revealing the graceful lines of her slender figure. In that fleeting instant, I was entranced, drawn in by the delicate balance of vulnerability and strength that appeared to harmonize within her. The cool strands of my damp hair caressed my forehead, and a subtle smile danced upon my lips, as though I had wandered into a dreamscape. My heart began to pound within my chest, each throb resonating in the stillness that enveloped me. It was the ultimate revelation I had never expected to face. For a fleeting instant, I stood paralyzed at the threshold, doubt enveloping me in a suffocating embrace, rendering me hesitant about my forthcoming move. A curious amalgamation of emotions churned within me, each clamoring for its moment in the spotlight. A warmth crept into my cheeks, an embarrassment washing over me, yet my gaze remained steadfastly fixed on him, unable to look away. "Diane, what in the world are you up to?" "It belongs to my son, Michael." Enveloped in a hushed tempest of regret, I felt my gaze waver, inexplicably captivated by the part of his robe that had slipped, exposing more than I had meant to behold. The scene before me stirred a soft glow in my heart. The confined quarters of the room appeared to magnify my emotions, enveloping me like a dense shroud, stifling, yet oddly comforting. In that instant, it dawned on me that there was no alternative resting place, only the heavy burden of isolation bearing down, a poignant reminder of the decisions I had embraced and the avenues I had left unexplored. In the stillness of the night, I pondered whether she rested next to him, wrapped in warmth, or if she opted for the solitude of a chair, adrift in her musings as time quietly flowed by. In this oppressive heat, the mere idea of locating a chair seemed like a distant fantasy. Upon entering the room, time appeared to elongate, every instant laden with unvoiced thoughts and emotions. As I lingered in that moment, Jason's steady and rhythmic breathing filled the air, wrapping the room in a gentle, soothing embrace. I took a deep breath, striving for clarity, but the chaos inside me obscured my mind, leaving me lost in a haze of uncertainty. I discovered a necessity to collect my thoughts and feelings, to assemble the scattered pieces of my existence. "All right, Diane," I whispered softly, sensing the gravity of the moment enveloping me. "It is merely a single night, nothing more to it. This seems devoid of any meaning." A beautiful idea once danced in my mind, meant to surprise Michael. Yet here I stand, ensnared in a moment of uncertainty. I grapple with the desire to remain logical, striving to uphold tranquility in the midst of the tumult that envelopes me. I approach the bed with deliberate slowness, My eyes locked on Jason, my mind adrift in contemplation, his innocent expression intertwined with the threads of my already tangled thoughts, adding layers to the complexity of my emotions. I sat on the edge of the bed, my mind wandering through the possibilities of how the night might unfold. In the quiet embrace of the night, a soft sound roused me from my dreams. As I gradually opened my eyes, I paused to allow the world to sharpen into clarity, surveying the room with a feeling of serene reflection. A gentle movement in the bed caught my attention, drawing my eyes to Jason, who was softly rousing from his slumber. I observed him, his gaze weighed down by a persistent fatigue, as he swept his fingers through his hair, the soft scratching against his scalp creating a calming cadence in the quiet of the scene. I reclined, my eyelids fluttering just enough to catch a glimpse of him from the depths of my own musings, feigning slumber. Yet, within the depths of my being, a tempest swirled, hidden beneath the calm facade. In that instant, I found myself profoundly conscious of it. His gaze holds me captive, drawing me into a profound contemplation. As my heart began to race, a torrent of emotions surged within me, drawing me into a profound contemplation of the events unfolding around me. His gaze was fixed upon me, and in that instant, I was enveloped by a profound sense of vulnerability. I endeavored to maintain the illusion, donning a lethargic visage and remaining utterly still. Yet within me emotions churned, restless and unresolved. As I lingered in that space, the gravity of the moment enveloped me in a hushed embrace. In the quiet confines of the bathroom, I sought a momentary escape from the clamor within, oblivious to the intricate web of thoughts that had woven themselves around my mind. Every motion seemed intentional, imbued with contemplation. As I faced the mirror, I encountered not merely my reflection, but the delicate balance of strength and vulnerability that resides within me, acknowledging the profound ways in which time has sculpted my identity and perception of self. As I observed the delicate changes in his muscles with every motion, a surprising warmth started to blossom inside me. It lay outside the realm of my influence. In that hushed instant, I wrestled with two deep insights. As I observed Jason, an odd sense of acceptance washed over me, as if I hesitated to intervene, to disturb the moment that was so intricately linked to my own emotions. I delved into the depths of the closet, my fingertips gliding over the textures, and retrieved a pair of shorts. The air was thick with nostalgia, every strand echoing tales of sunlit afternoons and ephemeral encounters. As he engaged in his task, I sensed his gaze darting in my direction, a fleeting, almost tentative look from the periphery of his vision, as if he were probing for indications of my consciousness, questioning whether I was genuinely alert in that instant. Their eyes sparked a profound reaction inside me, awakening a whirlwind of feelings I struggled to comprehend. I discovered myself ensnared in a fragile equilibrium, striving to restrain myself, yet wholly yielding to the profound gravity of the moment that surrounded me. As I slipped into the shorts, I lingered in the stillness of the room, hesitant to retreat back to the cozy embrace of the bed. In that moment, she nestled into the chair in the corner of the room, her eyes locked onto mine, as if she were attempting to decipher the intricate layers of my mind. The intensity of their stare was disconcerting, yet it stirred something deep and ineffable within my spirit. I reclined, my eyelids firmly closed, enveloped in the quietude, feigning a descent into slumber. Yet, for how much longer could I don this facade? Finally, I reached a point where the burden became too much to endure, and I surrendered to a profound stillness that wrapped around me. As my eyes met Jason's, an intense desire surged within me to reveal all that churned inside, unrestrained and genuine. Your presence awakens a profound feeling within me, Jason. The words lingered in the atmosphere, a tangible heaviness that felt within reach. At that instant, a deep understanding enveloped me, and I grasped that everything had altered beyond repair. As Jason's eyes fluttered for a brief moment, I sensed the heavy silence wrapping around us. He took a deep breath, as if collecting the scattered pieces of his mind, and then with a voice tinged with uncertainty, he started to reveal the depths of his inner world. "Fumable, I find myself at a loss," he murmured, his voice low yet resolute. "Diane, ever since my father departed, we have coexisted in this space for what seems like an endless stretch of time. As time flows onward, my emotions for you grow richer, revealing layers I never expected. There are instances when I struggle to hide the profound admiration that rises within me. For you, At this moment, I find myself ensnared in a dream, a surreal fog that wraps around my thoughts. His words took me by surprise, yet they stirred a profound emotion within me. Jason's eyes locked onto mine steadfast, while the chaos of the world around us dissolved into a faint haze. Gazing into his eyes, I was enveloped by a profound honesty and fervor that captivated me completely. With the first light of dawn breaking, I find myself deep in thought about the task that lies before me, repairing the car. The notion of awakening at dawn dances in my thoughts, a subtle nudge of the duties that lie ahead. I continue forward, sensing every instant elongate in front of me, a serene expedition into the recesses of my mind. His voice trembled, a subtle quest for reassurance within, yet his gaze held firm, unwavering, as if tethered to something profound. At this very moment, my eyes are wholly captivated by you, Diane. At this juncture, I am wrestling with feelings that are entirely foreign to me. My heart raced, each beat resonating in the stillness that enveloped me. In that instant, I felt compelled to move to the edge of the bed, easing myself into the chair that positioned me squarely in front of him. When our eyes locked, a surge of unexpressed emotions enveloped me. Our bond ran deep, surpassing the limitations of language. In that hushed instant, we remained enveloped in stillness. His lips softly pressed together as he shifted his gaze in my direction, an atmosphere thick with unvoiced reflections enveloping us. In this moment of quiet reflection, my thoughts drift to you, Jason. Your essence remains with me, a soft echo of the times we experienced together. It is impossible not to ponder the journeys we've embarked upon, the decisions that have shaped our present moment. It is a serene reflection, evoking a mixture of wistfulness and yearning deep within my soul. I find myself pondering your well-being, the musings that fill your hours, and whether you ever take a moment to reflect on me as well. These emotions possess a richness, an intertwining that resonates with both delicacy and intensity. In this quietude, I welcome the memories, letting them envelop me like a gentle wave, evoking the beauty and intricacy of our shared journey. I spoke gently, my voice infused with a sense of awe and a touch of rebellion. Do I truly grasp the essence of what you're conveying? Gazing into Jason's eyes, I felt an immense depth, a yearning to embrace this moment not with the noise of words, but through the subtle harmony of feelings. He stayed quiet, but the intensity of his stare communicated all I needed to know. In that instant, a profound realization took root inside me. I realized we had ventured beyond a threshold from which there was no turning back. As I looked into his eyes, a surge of courage enveloped me, intertwining with a profound, nearly overpowering yearning that resonated deep within my being. The mixture of doubt and passion in his eyes drew me closer. With a deep breath, I sensed the heavy burden of my thoughts resting upon my chest. As I finally found my voice once more, it emerged with a steady timbre, yet beneath it lay a current of unwavering determination. Jason, I murmured, seeking to ensnare his complete focus. Upon entering the room, I discovered you in a state of serene slumber. Your robe softly fell apart, and in that instant, I was irresistibly drawn to your presence, captivated and unable to avert my gaze. It resonated with me in ways I had never expected. These emotions are inescapable. At the core, we both grasped that reality. As my words hung in the quiet air, I took a cautious step forward, gradually lifting myself to my feet. His eyes remained fixed on each delicate movement I made, and I sensed the rapid rise and fall of his breath, mirroring the palpable tension that enveloped us. Emotion swelled inside me, intense and deeply felt. As my fingers grazed the sash of my dress, I lingered in the act of untying it, savoring the gravity of the moment. With every delicate pull, I observed the slight change in his breath, a silent echo of the tension that lingered in the atmosphere surrounding us. As I spoke, my voice trembled, and I found myself immersed in profound contemplation about the necessity of achieving equilibrium in our lives. As I carefully tugged at the zipper of my dress, each motion was intentional, imbued with a subtle gravity that lingered in the air. The fabric softly glided from my shoulders, flowing down to the floor, enveloping me in a sense of exposure and vulnerability in that hushed moment. The refreshing breeze brushing against my skin only served to amplify the flames that burned within, each inhalation a poignant reminder of the chaos swirling inside me. In that instant, I sensed a profound bond, as though his eyes contained a cosmos of silent thoughts and feelings. Time seemed to stretch, allowing me to glimpse the intricate layers of his soul mirrored in my gaze. In an unforeseen instant, a wave of admiration surged within me, intertwining with an undeniable attraction that tugged at the depths of my being, impossible to overlook. The quiet that enveloped us crafted an invisible bond, a delicate thread binding our hearts in a manner that language could never fully express. In that instant, I sensed the profound bond of our aspirations, intricately intertwined in a manner that appeared to rise above the mundane. With each step I took, my eyes were drawn to his, the air thick with the weight of unexpressed thoughts. In that quiet moment, I found myself whispering softly, pondering whether we genuinely grasped the depths of our connection. Jason's eyes held mine, his expression steady, a burning intensity that felt as though it penetrated to the very core of my being. In that instant, he ascended with deliberate slowness, his eyes locked onto mine, and activated the light, casting a glow that filled the surrounding area. The gentle illumination wrapped around me like a warm embrace as he approached, his hand steady as he inserted the key into the lock. My heart began to thud in my chest, each pulse resonating in the silence that enveloped me. In that instant, it felt as though time had frozen, leaving only the bond that tethered us together. As he approached, my breath hitched in my throat, a wave of anticipation coursing through me. It seemed as if he was gazing into the very core of my being, seeking out that which remained unvoiced. Still, an unmistakable sense of the subtle attraction hung in the air between us. As he approached, he instinctively extended his hand, catching me just before I faltered. The gesture surprised me, not due to its significance, but rather because it was a rare experience to feel supported once more, stirring something profound within me. In that instant, a profound hush enveloped us, brimming with unvoiced reflections and feelings. His gaze held me captive, and a subtle tension enveloped the atmosphere, uncertain yet unmistakably palpable. I averted my gaze, attempting to calm my breath, engulfed by the sheer weight of the moment. A profound stillness enveloped the scene, elongating the very fabric of time, as though the world had come to a halt, beckoning contemplation over movement. What I discovered was not clarity, but rather an unexpected emotional weight that compelled me to ponder the true significance of this connection. As my hands settled on his shoulders, I was acutely aware of the strength and warmth enveloping me, a soothing presence that felt as though it embraced my very essence. In that instant, the space that had previously divided us dissolved, and I sensed our breaths merging, forging an intimate bond that surrounded us entirely. In that instant, it felt as though all the emotions we had long concealed burst forth, saturating the air around us with a heaviness that was nearly unbearable. Jason's youthful exuberance stood in sharp relief against the deep-seated passion that had long been woven into the fabric of my being. At the threshold, a surge of fear and exhilaration enveloped me. It was the break of a new era, a moment that resonated profoundly within my spirit. That night, all we had endeavored to hide emerged, unfiltered and inescapable. I surrendered to the inviting embrace of the bed, sensing the burdens of the day gradually dissipate from my shoulders. My body is weighed down by fatigue, while my thoughts continue to swirl in an endless dance, stubbornly refusing to find peace. My breath surged in erratic rhythms, each inhale echoing the chaos that churned inside me. As my foot lightly brushed against the delicate fabric of my dress laid out on the floor, a surge of memories enveloped me, each thread murmuring tales of bygone moments. Jason's gaze was locked onto mine, and I could feel a powerful unspoken energy emanating from him, wrapping me in a moment that was both weighty and deeply significant. In that fleeting moment, he bent down to retrieve the dress, his fingers softly brushing against the spot where my foot had lingered, evoking a serene contemplation within me. Even that simple act sparked a warmth within me, awakening something profound deep inside. As I grasped the dress, I noticed a brief flicker of doubt in his gaze, yet it dissipated almost immediately, replaced by a steadfast expression that remained etched in my thoughts. She placed the dress aside with a delicate touch, her fingers softly gliding to the edge of the bed. A stillness enveloped the space, brimming with unvoiced sentiments and emotions that appeared to hover tantalizingly close yet remained elusive. With a soft uncertainty, I ascended onto the mattress, every motion intentional and steeped in a serene reflection. As I observed her movements, my heart grew heavy. Each gesture was careful and deliberate, as though she were traversing a realm brimming with unvoiced thoughts and emotions. As he approached, I noticed the emotions dancing across his features, a mixture of exhilaration and an irresistible attraction that echoed profoundly within me. As I reclined on the opposite side of the bed, I felt Jason's essence surrounding me, a subtle reminder of the connection we held. My heart thumped rhythmically, each pulse echoing through my being. In that fleeting moment of stillness, I sensed my breath becoming more profound. As I observed him draw nearer, a deep realization enveloped me, uncovering how the distance that had once existed between us had all but disappeared. It was as though I stood at the precipice of something deep and significant, the world around me transformed, leaving me suspended in the quiet of that instant. In that instant, I understood that retreat was no longer an option, and the tumult of emotions within me felt nearly overwhelming. A peculiar blend of anguish and elation surged through me, compelling me to reflect on the complexities of my emotions. As I looked up at the ceiling, Jason's face emerged clearly, and I became entranced by the tender manner in which he brushed his hair away from his forehead with his hand. In his gaze, I could perceive the profound layers of Jason's feelings. He exuded a comforting glow, a lively shade that reflected the happiness welling up inside him. In that moment, his excitement was nearly tangible, a manifestation of unadulterated joy that surrounded us both. As I observed him, a profound sense of connection washed over me, resonating with the passion he infused into each movement. His breathlessness resonated deeply within me, evoking feelings I struggled to express. I observed him invest his soul into every endeavor, and a profound sense of connection washed over me as I perceived the way he fought to regain his breath. Jason, you have stirred emotions in me so deep that I discovered comfort in the instant our car came to a halt. The memories of this hotel cling to me, refusing to fade away. Jason whispered, his voice trembling with feeling. His words hung heavy in the air, each syllable pressing down on me, making it difficult to draw in a breath. As I gazed into her eyes, I caught a glimpse of uncertainty, her hands revealing a delicate tremor that conveyed so much more than words ever could. My body was taut, muscles tightening with every deliberate motion, as if I were grasping at a transient memory, savoring it for just a moment more. He found himself wishing that his father would never entertain the thought of selling the car again. After uttering those words, he let himself sink down beside me. With his eyes shut, a blanket of silence wrapped around him, and he became adrift in the tranquility, permitting his breath to slowly rediscover its cadence. In that instant, I was completely depleted, as though every fragment of vitality had been extracted, leaving me with naught but a profound stillness. My legs twitched restlessly as I drifted into the serene embrace of silence, oblivious to the moment when sleep softly claimed me. The following morning, I discovered Jason had repaired the car, and he softly reminded me that we needed to collect Michael and make our way to the city where he awaited us. A tide of remorse enveloped me, intertwined with a tempest of conflicting feelings, yet beneath the surface, a spark of exhilaration flickered within. As I observed Jason, the intensity of his gaze enveloped me, the significance of his actions resonated deeply, and every facet of his being awakened something profound inside me. Everything felt intricately woven, and yet, I found myself adrift in a sea of uncertainty regarding what the future held. In that instant, I felt a profound conflict between the tumultuous inquiries racing through my thoughts and the intense, unwavering feelings that pulled at my very soul. In that instant, surrounded by a tempest of thoughts and emotions, a solitary truth grounded me. This journey resonates as a pivotal moment, a time when everything could transform in ways I have yet to grasp. If you have traveled alongside me to this moment, I feel that my narrative has resonated with something profound within you. As I ponder the moments we share, I am filled with a sense of nostalgia. If you sense a connection, you might want to press the follow button, activate notifications, and share your reflections on this story with us. Your voice holds significance in this journey. I am filled with anticipation as I await your insights, curious about how they may echo my own musings.